back with another episode of the IBJJF podcast, and today we are going to preview the 2023 Brasileiros. This event goes down starting April 29th, which is tomorrow. It's a Saturday, runs through Sunday, May 7th with the black belt finals. Samir, thanks for being here to help me with this.
Of course, it's always a pleasure. Always love it to commentate those fights, man. Some incredible matches coming in.
Absolutely. 2023 has been a really incredible year, especially for all the major black belt tournaments. And I think this is just going to be a continuation of some of the incredible jiu-jitsu that we've seen so far.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And they're all going at it, they're all going at it. All the divisions are huge. The divisions are big. People are getting excited about competing. Like the level of the competition are higher and higher and higher. We were just talking about like 15 years ago how we saw like a bracket with 3 people in the black belt division, and now that same bracket has 10. So like more than triple the amount of people. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about the Brasileiro, I've never been there personally. I know you have, but people talk about the atmosphere at the event. Of course, there's so much history of jiu-jitsu in Brazil and in Sao Paulo. So as someone who's been to the Brasileiro and competed at the event, what can you tell everyone about the atmosphere and just the electricity in the arena at the Brasileiro?
Let's just say you could never talk on the phone. You can never talk on the phone. You can't answer the phone. You can't answer the phone in a tournament. In the tournament, it's just it's noisy. It's it's like going to a soccer game. Like it's that cheering atmosphere, the supporting. It's just a lot of people from your gym going there and supporting and cheering you up. It's different though. It's different. It's just that environment, the environment of like the pushing forward and really like cheering you on. It's and besides, of course, it's Brazil. It's where the jiu-jitsu came from. So there's always that sense of like I'm going to the Mecca. I'm going to where everything is started. So that the feeling already goes from there. And then when you look at the history and look at the history of the Brasileiro, the matches and everything. So it already like adds up to, and then you walk into those places with that, that noise, that people cheering people up and all that, like celebrating, man. It's yeah. I remember back in the days, like those huge flags. People bring like instruments and stuff. So it's it's crazy. It's crazy. It's amazing.
And I think that electricity and that atmosphere has created some incredible moments in jiu-jitsu and in like Brasileiro history, so to speak. What are some of your favorite moments from the Brasileiros from years past?
There are some amazing memories for sure, like recent and older. I would say like when I was a kid, when I was not just a kid, but when I fought my first Brasileiro, I think I was 10 or 9.
Wow.
I was a yellow belt, yes. And then but I don't remember as much of other fights. I didn't really stayed to watch other matches or nothing, but on my blue belt days, on my juvenile days, I would go there, compete, usually the first day, and then I would go back every single day just to watch. I would watch the purple belts. I would go back the next day and watch it, like by myself, take a metro, goes like subway all the way, like an hour subway, like 45 minutes subway from where I used to live to Tijuca Tennis Club to watch a bunch of different matches there for purple belts, brown belts, and black belts. So one of the days that really that I remember a lot was 2006, Marcelo Garcia winning weight and open class. I remember the year before, André Galvão winning, and then I'm like, I always loved watching André Galvão, and then since color belts, and then he wins everything his first year as a black belt, and then next year comes Marcelo Garcia and beats him in the finals. Like I believe and I think I remember the fight perfectly, which is crazy because it's been so long.
Yeah.
But seriously, what, like, man, like 15, 17
Yeah.
years. It's,
Almost
yeah,
18 years ago.
yeah. So I like he passes Galvan's guard with that switching the hip on the half guard facing the legs and pushes the leg and take his leg out. This will be a classic from him. And I was like, wow, somebody can do that with Andre, like, and after that, I'm like, man, I wouldn't, of course, I already knew Marcelo, but then after that, I was like, wow, it's pretty impressive. Then he went back and won the open class too, beating Damian Maia in the finals too. So it's, it's definitely one of the most memorable Brasileiros that I've been that day watching the black belts and also like competing. I competed. I think 2006 was my first years in my first year as an adult. I was 17-year-old. I did blue belt, so it was amazing too. Like my whole team was there. My whole like a bunch of people from my gym was there. So great times, man. Brasileiro is just it's yeah, it's a great time. Can't wait. Next year I'll be there.
That's incredible. Yeah, that was one from 2006. I know we talked before we started recording about some more recent Brasileiro performances. One that really stood out to me was 2019. Isaac Doederlein won the featherweight division. He had 6 fights, 4 submissions, beat Paulo Miao in the semifinal, an opponent who had beaten him multiple times that year coming up to the Brasileiro. That was a very great run for Isaac, and that was his first major black belt title. And I felt like that really kickstarted his career and helped him achieve eventually the world title last year.
Yeah, but we spoke about before how Isaac like kept kept coming and coming, always on the top, always on the top. Either like what we you say in Portuguese, he was always knocking the post. Like basically when you have a goal in the soccer, you have the goal and you're always hitting the post. Like he wouldn't score, but he would hit the post on those major tournaments. He was always there, always a threat, always almost winning, and then all of a sudden he did win. Like in an amazing fashion, like win Brasileiro 6 matches, submitting 4 people, beating Paulo Miao, like what how could it go better,
Yeah.
like in like to boost up his confidence to do
Mhm.
what he did after that. If I'm not mistaken, he won Europeans, right?
Yeah, I won
In the
2020
following
Europeans.
year.
Yep.
Yeah, in the following year he won Europeans and then ended up winning Worlds a year later, right? 2 years later. Yeah, sorry.
So Isaac's going to return this year. Let's talk about some of the athletes who are making their 2023 major championship debut. Quite a few world-class black belts, world champions coming back for the first time in 2023 to major for the Brasileiros. Isaac is going to be in at featherweight again. He's got Fabricio Andre in his division. He's got Alex Sodre. What excites you about Isaac coming back, and which matches do you want to see him have at featherweight?
Yeah, no, that division is pretty is pretty stacked, man. And I always say it's definitely one of my favorite divisions since it's a division that I follow a lot because it's a division that I always competed my whole life. So, man, this is I would love to watch him and Fabricio.
Yeah.
I think that's the fight for me. For me, that's the fight. That's the fight because. They didn't fight at Worlds last year. Fabricio lost his quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken, in a amazing match, by the way,
Sam the
um,
guy.
with the guy. Yes, with a guy, and then it was one of the best matches of that year, in my opinion. So he didn't get a chance to fight Isaac in that Worlds. So I do want to see that match. That's definitely, if I could ask, that would be a match to watch. But of course, Sodra is definitely somebody that you can match up with anyone there. It's going to be a good fight.
Yep.
He's a very exciting competitor, super good, has what it takes to win. He won Brasileiros, I think, a few years back. He beat, I think it was Live Feather. I think
Yeah, I
he
think he
won at
actually got
Live
second.
Feather.
He lost to Thiago George in the final after he beat Joao Miao. So it was an incredible
Oh, okay.
performance. Yeah.
Okay, so he had a great run that year. Did he end up winning later? The Brasileiros, I'm not
I
100%
don't think
sure.
so.
No, yeah, always been doing really good. So he's also a threat. He's definitely a threat for that
Yeah.
division there. Him and Fabrizio always put up some really good matches,
Hmm.
super close matches,
Yes.
always. No, so that's and watching him and Isaac would be amazing too. If I'm not mistaken, he beat Isaac in 2021 Worlds.
Yes.
Isaac had a tight ankle lock on him, super tight ankle lock on him. And then he ended up losing to Fabrizio in the semifinals. So, so much history between those top competitors there, you know. So I just want to watch everything again and see what it changes, you know. What if the strategy is going to change one from the other, you know, so we can see a slightly different match, or uh, the winner is going to be able to bring that match to their to his game and try to mimic the last fight, you know. So it's always nice to watch those rematches. Because you always see that that one of them are gonna bring something different to the table, you know. So I'm always excited for those kind of matches. So yeah, so uh, it's gonna be a great one. Alex Sodrev, Fabrizio Andre, and uh, Isaac Doederlein. They're gonna bring the fire to that division.
I believe Isaac and Fabricio are the 1 and 2 seeds, so they're on opposite ends of the bracket. So if they do meet up, it would be in the final, which would be an incredible final.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely, and probably Alex Sodra is going to be with Fabricio.
Yes.
Since yes, right. Since that we were talking about the current world champion and the world champion before that. So yeah, so that'll be pretty exciting. That'll be pretty exciting division for sure.
Absolutely. Let's move on. We'll talk about Andressa Sintra. She's a 3-time world champion, won the Brasileiros last year in 2022. She's coming back in 2023 to the middleweight division. She's got Elizabeth Clay in her division, Talita Silva. Middleweight's pretty tough. It's been very competitive this year. What do you feel like about Andressa's game, and how do you feel like she'll perform at the Brasileiros?
Yeah, Andressa, hands out. She always does amazing. That there is not a tournament where you don't see her on her peak performance. You know,
Yeah.
she's always top notch. Always does amazing. So the division there is gonna be fire. We got Elizabeth Clay, we got Talita, we got Julia Boscher. We have some really really good competitors there that are very. That's going to bring a heat towards. I'll say the favorite Andressa, 3-time world champion. So. Um, it's gonna be a really good division for sure. I'll say that. Yeah, I Andressa is going to have to work really hard to win that one again. She had an incredible match, super tough match with Talita, I believe. Was the World's Finals,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it was by one advantage or it was decision, but it was a super tight match, you know. But then we have Elizabeth Clay that just submitted Talita
That was incredible.
after in the finals of the Pan Ams after avenging a loss from that Worlds from last year Worlds. So you can see the jump that she did after losing. So she can bring a really good match with Andressa too. So it's gonna be a really good division, though. It's gonna be a really good division. Those competitor there, Julia Boscher, that's always there too, super tough competitor. It's gonna be a really good. It's gonna be a really good division for sure.
Yeah, you talked about Elizabeth Clay getting that submission win in the middleweight final at the Pans over Talita, and I feel like she's really hitting her stride as of late. The Pans was her first gi title, but she won double gold at the Nogi Pans and the Nogi Worlds at the end of
Yes.
2022. So she has just been on fire. That would be an incredible matchup.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That'll be awesome. Like Andressa and Elizabeth Clay. That'll be a super good fight to watch for sure.
We also got Lucas Valenti coming back to the lightweight division. I believe he competed at the Brasileiros last year. Didn't get the gold, but Lucas is a competitor who always puts on a great performance. Incredible guard, extremely flexible, has some really unique attacks. The lightweight division, I feel like, is a bit open for the Brasileiro. I believe Lucas is the number one seed, but what do you think about Lucas's game, and what do you think about the lightweight division at Brasileiro?
Lightweight division, like I said, is very open. It's super stacked too. A lot of really good competitors there that can that for sure can win. Lucas, he was runner-up world champion. He lost by decision, if I'm not mistaken, to Lucas Lepre
Yeah.
a few years back. I think it was 19 or something. Man, Lucas has an incredible guard. Like he's so flexible. His guard is really good defensively. Very hard to get anything off of that guard. I'm not saying a guard pass. I'm saying an advantage or something. It's very
Yeah.
very hard to get. So one thing that I always say when somebody asks me about Lucas' game is that you have to be really smart in order to beat Lucas. Um, because make if you don't score, or if you let him put on his game, it's going to be very hard for you to score. It's going to be very hard for you to get anything out of it. So he's number one seed for a reason. Like he's definitely one of the favorites that to win. But we do have some really good competitors too, like Nathan Shuang, for example, is a guy that I really like watching, and it's definitely a guy that can bring a really good fight for Lucas.
Yeah, Natan got second at the Europeans this year. He's been having some great performances. Also have Luis Paulo is also in the lightweight
Luis Paulo
division.
from El Gavone, yes, he's very
I
good.
believe he beat
Yes,
Lucas at last year's Brasileiro, so that could be another potential awesome matchup.
yes, yes, for sure. Luis Paulo is really, really, really good and very dangerous too. So and puts up some really good fights too. So
Definitely exciting fights.
watching him is always pretty exciting. Yes. Uh-huh.
Another exciting competitor that's coming back for the Brasileiros, Bianca Basilio. She won the 2022 Worlds. It was her first black belt world title, and going into last season, she had won pretty much every major title as a black belt besides the Worlds. Now she's got the world title under her belt. Incredible footlocks. Another, like, we talk about exciting competitors a lot. She's very exciting, never in a boring match. She's going to be at featherweight. She also got Anna Rodrigues in her division, so that could be a very, very interesting and exciting matchup. Let me hear your thoughts on Bianca coming back to the Brasileiros.
You said it all. That's the match that I want to watch. That's the match that I want to watch. There are some really good competitors there too, but definitely stands out. It stands out Anna Carolina and Bianca Basilio. Bianca Basilio being definitely one of my favorite females to watch. Super exciting competitor. She starts and finishes the match the same pace, same way, always going forward, always attempting her game and her takedowns. I remember the first time I watched Bianca, she was a purple belt, and she was uh, uh, um, I think it was at Pans that I watched her. I was like, wow, like it was just super exciting competitors, always super exciting competitors. And now she has her world title on her shoulders, which boosts confidence of any competitor. So it's definitely going to be a really good match with a potential match. I'll say a potential match with Anna Carolina, who I'm sorry, with Anna Rodrigues, who has been flawless for the past few years. So I believe she has one or two loss or her black belt only in IBJJF tournaments, which is crazy.
Yeah, we did a
Crazy to
little
say the least.
breakdown on her black belt career in IBJJF, 27-2. Her only losses coming outside of her weight class, one being at the IBJJF Absolute, or excuse me, the IBJJF Lightweight Grand Prix, and the other coming in
Hmm.
the open class against Talita Silva at the 2022 Europeans. So she's done incredible at light feather and parlayed all of that success into the featherweight division going up, where she's looked absolutely unstoppable, like you said.
Yeah, so she's undefeated on her weight class as
Yes.
a black belt, so which is pretty
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so her match with Bianca, it's very promising. Somebody that has been really doing really good, that just recently won her first worlds. So I can't wait to watch that match. That match is definitely a match I don't want to miss if plays out, which has a great potential.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Victor Hugo, two-time world champion, won the Worlds in 2021. His Worlds final in 2022 is one of the best matches I've seen in the last couple of years. Incredible match over win over Gutenberg Pereira of GF team. And Victor is in the ultra heavy division. It's going to be his first, again, going to be his first 2023 major championship. And he's got Victor Honorio in his division. He's got Antonio Braga Neto. So guys that haven't been as active in the past couple of years now coming back have been doing really well when they've been competing in the gi. What are your thoughts on Victor coming back, and how do you see those two matches playing out if he were to face Honorio or Braga Neto?
And I love to see Vitor Honorio back. He's one of the guys that he was so promising when he moved to black belt. He was I think he was podium in open class at Worlds. I believe he lost to Leandro in the semifinals. He put some really good performances. Always super exciting competitor. Like the way that he moves in the ultra heavyweight, it's incredible. It's
Yeah, his
incredible, and I'm
speed and his power combined with his weight
yeah,
is ridiculous.
yes. And I've been watching him since he was super young because he used to fight a lot of my teammates in Brazil. So uh, following his career for a while, always an exciting competitor. Also, Antonio Baganeto, he's like from my time basically. So I've been watching him since coming up on the belts too. World champion. He's definitely bringing a lot of experience to that division, so that definitely can play into his favor. But Vitor Hugo is in a really good momentum too. That final last year was one of the best comebacks of all time. You know,
Rivaled
uh,
Adam Wardzinski and Felipe Andrew from
I
the
was
fans.
just going to say yes, yes. It's right there. They're right there.
Yeah,
Like these two matches are right there. So and it's no way out there. It's definitely gonna be some. It's definitely gonna be some really good competition there. We got Nalati too, Otavio Nalati. So we got some really good competitors in that division. Um, Definitely, I'd love to see some of that matchups plays out, like Vitor Hugo and Braga Neto. I think it's gonna be a really good for. I think their styles are gonna be good, but man, watching Vitor Hugo's passes against, I'm sorry, Vitor Honorio passes against Vitor Hugo's. They're both Vitor Hugo, so
yeah,
but, but Honorio's passes against Vitor Hugo's guard. That'll be something very interesting to watch. That's probably the matchup that I'm more excited about in the division.
yeah. That's a great point. You got Victor Hugo's guard. He's so flexible for a big man. Moves very well off his back, and then Honorio, like you said, so explosive. He moves faster than most lightweights, and he's an ultra heavy, which is
Yeah.
absurd. It's crazy.
Yep.
And I think
Yeah.
we could potentially see
Imagine.
those guys in the open class as well. I'm sure they're both going to want to go for double
Oh
gold.
yeah.
So those will be some exciting matchups too. We got Felipe Andrew, Patrick Gaudio, a lot of guys who can give them good matches in the open.
Yeah, no, 100%. The open class on the Brasileiros, man, it's gonna be almost like a World's Open class. It's gonna be really fun to watch. Definitely some really good competitors there. And talking about Felipe Andrew, man, the heavyweight division, huh?
Yeah, heavyweight's crazy.
It's
Let's talk about heavyweight for a bit because we got some really excellent competitors there. We got Felipe Andrew, Peter Zuki, Gabriel Oliveira. The list kind of goes on and on. But I want to get your thoughts on heavyweight.
yeah, it's gonna be, and I'll say it's I'll give my favoritism to Philip Andrew. He's definitely the guy has momentum right now. He suffered that comeback from Adam Rosiski in the
Right.
Pan Ams, but other than that, he was doing a phenomenal on that match. He was 11-2 in that match until like the last 20 seconds. But fight doesn't end until it ends, right? So, but still, Philip Andrew has been having great momentum, super consistent. I always like to say that he's one of the most consistent fighters in my opinion. If you take in consideration the amount of competition he does a year. Of course, we have those super consistent competitors that does only the major tournaments and they win it all. Yes, but competing as much as Felipe Andrew does and still always being on top, it's something very, very, very hard to do. So that division is super stacked, man. Like uh, Heather is another super tough competitor. Is gonna bring the heat to that division for sure. Patrick Gaudio always with great performances. Um, he's coming back after a while without competing. Has been coming back the past few tournaments. So it's definitely going to be a very good division to watch for sure.
Very excited for heavyweight. So I want to talk about some of the athletes that have the potential to win the 2023 Grand Slam. We actually have 6 of them this year, which is really incredible. The only male athlete that we have is Tainan Dalpra, who announced recently that he'll be at the Brasileiro. Very exciting. He's back in the middleweight division. We've talked about Tainan a lot because of how dominant he's been. He has a 70% submission rate at black belt, undefeated in IBJJF competition, looked ridiculously good at pans, always bringing new stuff to the table. But I just want to get your reaction to how excited you were when you saw that he signed up for the Brasileiro, because I think that was kind of up in the air for him, but he did decide to jump in.
Yes, yes, man. I was super excited for a few different reasons. One, I do think he deserves a grand slam for himself for what he has been doing. Like he has been doing phenomenal. The guy is. Uh, you guys did a breakdown on him. What, 52-0 or something like
Yeah, I
that?
believe now he's 54-0. He's got over a 60% submission rate in major championships against the best
It's
in the world,
it's
over 70% overall. So his numbers are
it's ridiculous.
undeniable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like something unseen. So seeing him competing, it's always a treat. So uh, when I found out he was going to compete, so it's always great to watch him compete. So I was excited to see him competing, and I was also excited not only because of that, but because I saw the division uh, at Brasileiros that his division at Pans wasn't as big as now. So now we do have more competitor in the division. We do have a lot of high level competitors in the division too. Uh, Another match with Pedro. It's something that I also want to see
Yeah.
because I spoke about the difference between his match at Worlds last year compared to their match on at Pans, and I want to see how the evolution goes. Hannah has been evolving crazy fast. I want to see comparing those matches. That's something that I like to do to compare those matches to see what is he bringing different to the table this time. That's gonna that might show him that he's on that next level. So it's
Yeah.
always nice to watch those matches. Pedro did a really good tough match with him last year. Uh, we do have other really good competitors in the division too. That's definitely going to make things super interesting. So watching Tainan there, like I said, is always a treat for us. Seeing him in the Brasileiro brings another glamour to the Brazilian nationals. To see him there, one more high of the highest level competitor in the Brasileiro. So it's gonna be fun, and the fact that he can potentially Grand Slam, it's phenomenal, and I think that's gonna be one more thing in his career that's gonna be making history.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about some of the new opponents he had. He has more competitors in his division at the Brasileiro than he had at the Pans. And I think it's always exciting to watch him fight new competitors because with so many wins and so many competitions at middleweight, he fights a lot of the same guys nowadays. A lot of times, it's a
Yeah,
similar group of athletes that make it to the top of the podium, but he has the potential to fight some new athletes. So it's great to see him try to apply his game to different athletes with different styles. And that just really adds to his legacy as he's able to show how he can adapt his game to pretty much any style.
absolutely, yes, and that's definitely something that I want to see, and it's definitely something that we talk a lot. We talk a lot too. Is some people they cannot make to America for visa issues or anything. So it's nice to see him going out there and fighting different guys, as you mentioned. So it's definitely it's definitely really good for the division there. watching him and seeing him fighting different guys, and also it's going to be exciting for sure.
So in addition to Tainan, we also have 5 other athletes who won European and Pan's gold, going for their 3rd major title at the Brasileiros. We have Jessica Caroline at roosterweight, Mayssa Bastos at light feather, Anne Rodrigues at feather, and we have Luiza Monteiro at lightweight, and then Gabrieli Pessanha at super heavy and in the open class. I kind of wanted to start with Luiza just because I feel like she deserves a lot of praise. Just going over her results at the Pans. The Pans was her 9th Pan title as a black belt, which is
That's crazy.
ridiculous. Almost a decade, over a decade, competing at the highest level and winning the highest level tournaments. And I believe she's going for something like her 3rd or 4th Brasileiro title as a black belt. She's won the open class at this event before. Luiza has, of course, always been at the top since she's been competing as a black belt, but she's also evolved her game throughout this past decade, competing at the highest level, which is extremely impressive to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Luisa has been always in the top of her weight class for ever since she got her black belt. I believe she won Nogi Worlds as a brown belt or purple belt when they were together with black belts. You know, because back in the days, it used to be purple to black because the amount of girls was not a law, so
Yeah.
they used to combine the divisions. You know, and I believe even Nogi Worlds she won. I don't remember if she was a brown belt or she was a pro belt, you know, and so she always did really good in that weight class. She moved to different weight class. She did light feather, middleweight, middle heavy. You know, she went through a few different divisions there, and always if she was a winning, she was right there at the top of that weight class. You know, always at the top of that weight class, and multiple time world champion, multiple times Pan Am champion, multiple times Brasileiro champions, and keeping that uh, 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 that consistency. In the highest level, you know, it's just super impressive, and uh, uh, super tough division that she has right now. Some really good competitors there, and once again, she's gonna go there. She does not need to prove anything to nobody, and but she's gonna go there, put herself out there, and challenge herself. So it's gonna be exciting to watch her for sure.
She's won every major title as a black belt, but she hasn't done it all in the same year. So she doesn't have the Grand Slam. So I think that's a big motivation for her this year. But with so many athletes, we have 6, like I mentioned, who are going for the Grand Slam. Do you think that's something that we're going to see more and more of as time goes on? Athletes really striving for that Grand Slam title and competing at all the major events.
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. Yes, we do have. It's a whole, you know, like especially after you win a few times, you won a few time worlds, and then you won a few times pans, and then you're like, what is the next challenge? You know, collect world championship. That's what I feel like Tainan is going through too. Like Mayssa, for example. You know, like Mayssa did the Grand Slam last year, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel that this is one of the things that go to their mind too. You know, like I've won every major tournaments a couple times. Why not? What's my next challenge? My next challenge is going to be try to make it all in the same year. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I believe that goes to their mind too. And if you see all these competitors that we mentioned that has what that uh, can potentially do the Grand Slam this year, they have been pretty dominant in their division for a while now.
Absolutely. So that was a pretty good overview of the Brasileiro. Covered a lot of different ground on female black belts, male black belts, Grand Slam, black belts making their debut at a major championship. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we wrap up the podcast?
No, no, I'm excited for the Brasileiros. I can't wait next year. I'm definitely gonna be there. This year I thought about it. I almost made it, but decided to stay. But next year I'm gonna be there too. I can't wait. It's gonna be actually my first Brasileiros as a black belt. I competed in every single color belt, but then ever since I moved to America, I never came back for the Brasileiros. So it's gonna be my first one. So I can't wait. It's definitely a different environment, you know, it's like we were talking about before. So yeah, so I'm excited to watch. I'm definitely going to be watching, and yeah, thank you.
Of course, it's going to be an incredible event. If you guys want to watch it, you can go to FloGrappling.com. Black belts start on Saturday, May 6th. The finals will be on Sunday, May 7th, the following day. Thanks again, Samir, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Of course, thank you guys.